All right, hey, it's Tim Reha here, ARVR Live. We are on location at the AEC Hackathon, third annual, and this is Greg House, organizer.
Hey, thank you. It's been another long weekend. I'm happy it's finished, but it was good. It was very good.
Yeah, it's really cool to kind of see this emerging industry. I've been in the tech space for 20 plus years here in Seattle, and it really takes some leaders to kind of pull the future to us, especially in these areas outside of gaming. So I saw all kinds of professionals here. Who was the audience?
We had a good audience. I mean, I think we took a poll. We had about half AEC people and half tech people, and then some people who wanted just to see who was going to show up. Yeah. And and then the construction people who show up tend to be extremely technical. Yeah. And so it all kind of meshes. But what I really think unites people is just essentially optimism and enthusiasm about the industry. Yeah. Because we've got a super booming construction industry, real estate industry, and tech industry. Then how do we mash those up together? And then how do we make Seattle one of the places where that mashup happens even more?
Yeah, I like your mindset too. It's not like just about one technology or the other. It's kind of the convergence of AI, VR, AR, generative, robotic computing, all kinds of stuff. Is that even a word?
Yeah, it is. It's a generative design, and all that's coming together. That is that big convergence. And with our super boom here, it can really happen here more than any other place. Yeah. And I think a lot of the people that's what building people are. They have to have a lot of different skills. They have to integrate stuff. Yeah. And we're drowning in tech. We want to use more of it. But I think people here realize if they really embrace it, it's a great competitive advantage.
And really, when you kind of peel back the layers for the built space, the AEC space, there's a lot of details that maybe people just don't understand until you really are among the experts, especially if you're trying to be a startup and build something for the space.
Yeah, and that's the general idea. If you're the large tech companies, the Google, the Microsoft, the Intels, are increasingly interested in smart homes, and Amazon here today is another example.
They were huge at CES. It was like these interfaces are the front end of the smart home network.
And now they have an accelerator on Alexa, and one of the divisions is smart homes. And they're like, okay, we want to come to the AEC hackathon, the VR hackathon, and we really want to engage with forward-looking companies and professionals in the industry. Because we don't know how to work with it. How do you work with the building industry? Where are the techie people? And how do you engage them at scale? Yeah. And so I think by bringing technology people, and that's a broad description, and expose them with people who are on the front lines of building big, complex projects and small ones, and saying, how do we develop technical solutions that help us build better, faster, smarter? Yeah. That's job opportunities, yeah.
You have a really interesting perspective from around the world, from traveling. What is kind of happening at the edges of the planet that you've been traveling to? I know you're in Northern Europe.
Yeah, the convergence is happening. I was 2 months, in December and January, in Scandinavia, in Germany, and we're going back to Munich now on the 31st. And I think the convergence of the IT industry and the building industry is accelerating. It's happening everywhere. And in Europe, the government and the EU are dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into it, in some cases billions. And they're like, wow, the Americans own the IT and the web. We're the dominant player. They're really digitizing. We're going to have this whole smart city things happening on. How do we play well with the Americans? And that's what kind of shocks me there. And you tell them I'm coming from Seattle, they're like, wow. And then the doors fly open. They're like, how do we work with you? Yeah. How do we integrate? And we bring a lot of tech toys that they can't even buy. For example, I was at the Microsoft Flux office in Helsinki, owned by Microsoft, bringing a HoloLens. And they're like, well, we can't sell them here. It's not legal. So we're bringing Microsoft products into Finland. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but we are, because they can't get a hold of them, because they can't get a hold of a lot of devices that we get a hold of. The primary reason being they want to give them to the American developers first, which is great. Yeah. But we want to integrate global collaborators worldwide who are solving similar problems. Yeah. And that's the whole idea of this open community. And it's pretty exciting what's happening.
So what happens to the Cascadia range, and how do we compete, especially when it seems like there could be more involvement with enterprise, with the government and the community kind of bubbling up? I know you guys are doing a lot here, but what would you like to see in the next 3 to 5 years?
I would like to see more collaboration from Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland, because they're all booming cities with booming tech industries, booming real estate industries, the fastest appreciating major metropolitan areas in the country, and booming construction industries. And I think if they collaborate more, and we can as a network, we can better than engage the IT industry. Google and Microsoft and Facebook and Intel want to engage this industry, but they need to engage with networks. They can't have time to engage with individuals, and they're looking for use cases and case studies where these innovative companies are using their emerging technologies. So it is the AR, the VR, the MR, the smart home.
Now, where did you get the cool shirt?
Oh, that's a long story. San Francisco, and I got some nice flowers too. Yeah.
So what are you up to next?
Right now, we're installing a new CAM CNC robotics line in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, wow.
That'll be like our.
What is your factory? What do you do?
I'm a builder, and what we're focused on now, the largest wood producing state in the country is Oregon. Second largest is Washington, and our focus is bringing new technologies to timber. Since we're the largest wood producing and wood consuming area in the world, shouldn't we be at the very forefront of using technology to build better, especially with wood? So we have a factory in Portland, Oregon, where we're putting a bunch of CAM CNC and robotics, and we built the first CLT building, cross-laminated timber, a 5-story wood building in Portland, Oregon, and now we're working on the new innovation center at Oregon State University. It's a $60 million building called the National Wood Design and Manufacturing Center of Excellence.
Awesome.
And they just renamed it, I think, like a week ago to the Tall Timber Institute for tall timber skyscrapers. So we're actually involved in fabricating that building. And the idea is to grow a network of people, timber, technology, and building, and just make this region a leader.
You worked on the TED stuff up in Vancouver, BC.
TED stage. If you ever watched the TED stage, we fabricated all of that, then shipped it up to TED, and it's been used 3 years in a row.
Very cool.
And we have a lot more, a few hundred projects. So
how do people connect up with you in all different levels?
come to a hackathon. That's really good.
What's the website?
AEC Hackathon. AECHackathon.com.
Okay. And then you got the meetup groups?
And I have a local meetup group called, I think it's MRARVR in AEC.
Yeah, we'll shine that up here in the lower third.
And I think another thing to do is I blog and tweet and everything else under Idea Builder.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So that's probably the major thing. But really I think the objective is connect networks of innovators. That's where the real opportunities lie.
Yeah, I saw you really went down to the brass tacks, and I met some people around here who are like on the front lines and really understand the deep problems from clash reporting to all types of new visualization you'll need to build in the future.
Yeah, construction and design is changing at an accelerating rate. It's all moving to the cloud. It's going to go cross-platform and be multi-user. So essentially, to design a building in the future, you're going to go to a website. And you can then engage not only directly with the design community, the engineering, you can, in essence, you're also engaging with the manufacturer. And also, you're seeing the same thing happen in real estate. You're providing more 3D data and more information about a building that already exists or one that does not yet exist. And we want to be a part of that evolution. This is a very good place here. We have Zillow, we have Redfin, we have Trulia. How do we make Seattle the epicenter where real estate, technology, construction, innovative, smart buildings converge? Cool. That's my objective. I want to play a small part in making that happen. Cool. But the thing to make it happen, I think, is multi-industry, cross-domain, people pushing it forward. Yeah. It's just too big of a task.
All right, so there it is. That's Greg Howes. We are here wrapping up at the Seattle 3rd Annual AEC Hackathon. Congratulations, great show.
Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time.